just like you have your bodily health, you have your spiritual health, you have your financial health. Mental health is also a part of your life.
Okay.
And if you get it wrong with your mental health, you're likely going to get it wrong in all other aspects of your life. So people need to get to the point where they would understand that there is nothing strange about saying, I don't connect to me mentally. Because it begins with your feeling, then it connects to how you think, then how you see life generally.
Perception.
And then there's also the place of how you view other people. So people who get to the point where they feel or think, I need to see a psychiatrist, didn't begin with that.
Okay.
It started with a journey, which maybe the individual didn't pay attention to, or just felt I could roll over it. And then it metamorphoses into the place where the feeling of emptiness. You know, depression is a chronic feeling of emptiness. That it's only the carrier that knows what he or she feels. And at times, the carrier might be able to sense that I'm in a tunnel, a dark tunnel. I can't see any light, you know, beyond where I am. The carrier feels like I'm sinking. He or she might be surrounded by loving people.
Okay.
Because at times, the depressed doesn't mean that you don't have good people around you. Yes, but it's more of an internal thing. It's chronic, it's deep, it's heavy. And then it breeds into a form of hopelessness, where you're in the midst of plenty, you just feel you are just empty.
So,
Wow.
how can someone get to this point? Or let me put it this way, what are the things that one can begin to watch out for before things will deteriorate to this stage?
You know, it's easier to say, don't do this, do this. You don't predict when you fall into depression. That's what people don't know. But you can only track your emotion. Because as we are in psychology, we believe that we carry all emotions, both negative and positive. And you must be able to tell when the positive is on the high range. And you must tell when the negative is on the high range. So you must be able to gauge and self-regulate. But what we're having that leads people into that deep dungeon of depression is not being able to track your emotion. Now, if you're financially intelligent, you will be able to track your spending. You will track your income. You track where your money is going. It's the same thing with your emotion. You must tell what activity is draining me, okay? Who is sapping my energy, okay? And although there are situations that we may not be able to control, okay? A lot of things are happening, you may not control it. But in the midst of it, your emotion is your power. You have the ability to have hold of it. And that's why you need to gauge what is sapping your emotion and what is energizing your emotion.
Interesting, Wemimo. You know, like I said initially, I said I want us to be as practical as we can get.
Yes.
I don't want us to, because this is, for me, this is a very serious issue. I don't want us to treat it, you know, at the peripheral, the vague, you know. I want us so that our viewers can connect with it. How does depression affect our mentality? I mean, if you're able to spot some of these things you're talking about, you can seek for help quickly.
Yeah.
So how does depression affect our mentality?
And okay, I need to say that to some extent, depression is beginning to, I'll say, is becoming contagious.
Okay.
I'll let you know. Now, if you look at an average Nigerian, you may not have a positive evaluation of the system coming from them. Now, if you're around someone who is always spilling out negativity, if you stay too long, you are likely to contract that negative, you know, atmosphere.
That's an environmental factor.
Now, when you take those words in, and then it forms your belief, okay? We're talking about how depression affects our mentality. Then you begin to see the words you have received long before now or a while ago in your personal life, then you will adopt the belief and say, marriages don't work. Money is not available. This is not there. Then your mentality will be affected. You own the belief, then you play it out. Depression sets in.
Wow.
You can see the journey.
Wow, that's like what you believe is what
Exactly.
the way you be behaving eventually.
However, we have some life events that we may not be able to control. Like maybe bereavement, grief, loss of property, loss of lives, and all of that. You know, these are things you may not be able to control. So we need to also get to the point where we accept the realities of life.
Okay.
Depression also has a way of holding us down when we are not accepting the truth. This person is gone. Okay, you know, in psychology, when you're dealing with somebody who has been bereaved, one of the things you deal with is denial. You don't live in denial. And then denial moves to self-blame. Maybe if I had done something, maybe if I was there, maybe if I had called. Okay, the truth is, it has happened, it has happened. Okay, so how do we embrace or accept the reality, and let's see how you manage the situation. But if you don't have that capacity, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have a professional around you, you will sink into depression.
Wow. As much as possible, we'll try to, you know, a little wonder, one of the life manual says that we should guard our heart with all diligence. Out of it are issues of life. I think that's, I'm getting more expression for that. I recently, on social media,
yes,
we saw some, how do I place this? But I want you to speak to it. There's this young man, a transporter. I'm sure you also see it. You saw you know, social media that had issues with some last men here in Lagos. Yeah. That you know, he stripped himself naked, pulled in his hand and slapped it on one of the last men. Yes. That is one. Another one we saw at the filling station. A lady just appeared naked, you know, and started sprinkling fear all over the place. I was wondering, what could be going through their mind at that point?
Well, you know, we run a society where we are quick to judge. Before that, you know, those individuals got to that level, they've gone through a journey. Yes. And the person who stripped himself, who pulled and splashed, his experience before now may not have been okay. So, in the light with maybe the authorities here and there, and he must have made up his mind, maybe, when next, this is what I'm going to do. And it's still a function of the mind. It's a cognitive restructuring. You've restructured yourself. When I get to the office today, when they say this is what I'm going to do. And that is likely what you're going to do. Okay.
I want to hold your thoughts here. We're talking about restructuring of the mind. Yes. That is where we will pick it from. But before then, we want to go on a short break. Our guest is still in the studio. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Our guest is still here, Wemimo Adebiyi. And we're talking about mental health. Basically depression. And before we went on that short break, she was talking about restructuring of the mind. And that was where I said we were going to continue from. Talking about restructuring of the mind. How can we do this? How is this possible? I know that at times, you know, personally, you know, I could just be overwhelmed. And I just want to be there in my space. I just get home and I just tell my children, nobody comes to my door. I pick my key, I close my door. And the times, you're just there. You're just there as if you are empty, as if you are, you know, basically overwhelmed from work, not basically now, at times, overwhelmed from work, at times overwhelmed from, you know, the issues of life and, you know, all of that. You know, but you just want to lock your door and just be in your space. You know, is that a good therapy? You know, is it some form of, you know, restructuring of mind? You want to be alone, you know, when you get into all of this, you know. Tell us about restructuring of
when
mind.
you are alone, the question is, what are you doing with your mind?
You are empty most of the times.
Yeah, and a lot of times.
At times it feels as if you are just there. You are just alone.
It's okay to be alone. It's okay to want to, you know, when you are quiet,
go into your space.
You renew your strength. But a lot of people do not know how to activate the strength of the mind, whereby I just want to empty my mind and be blank. Okay, and that was why I asked the question, when I'm alone, what am I doing with my mind? Am I replotting how to fight back? Am I re-strategizing? Am I playing back and then reconstructing the words that somebody said to me to give it my own meaning? You know, so these are things that further sink us. But if I say I want to be alone, okay, to detoxify my mind, then I know that my space is my detoxification arena. Okay, so we need to know what works for us. Now, when you talk about restructuring your mind, you must be aware that whether you like it or not, your mind is taking something from the environment, especially things you do not solicit for. So when you are alone, when something happens, your response, your reactions will tell that you have picked something. So when you want to restructure your mind, you have to look out for your, how do I put it? Look out for your, the results your life has been yielding. If it's yielding in the negative direction and you can tell it, then your mind needs to be restructured. If it's yielding in the positive direction, then your mind is okay to some extent. You just need to guard it and beef it off. So it's all about assessing myself. Okay, if it's relationship, okay, if I'm changing relationships, if I'm not able and I'm getting the same result, then there's something that needs to be reevaluated. If it's with my children, if it's with on my job, if my assessment, my appraisal is giving me the same result, then there's something I need to work on.
Something needs to be done differently to get different results. Okay, let me quickly run through this because I know that we may not be having much time, and like I said, I want us to touch some other aspects. Late Ada Ame, I'm sure you know her.
Yeah.
That's a very popular Nollywood actor that died recently. This is a lady that's been battling with depression for a while now.
Yeah.
And almost everywhere she, was on social media, she always talked about being depressed. In fact, at some point, those who were close to her said when she finished her lines on social media, she would end with a white dove, as if she had a premonition of that she will soon depart the world. So in all of this, how can, what should be the role of a support system in managing depression?
Okay, thank you very much. By my assessment, I'll say she had a very strong support system. Because listening to her, watching and following some of her activities, our support system was on point, really. But you cannot tell how deeply rooted depression may have gone before you got to realize I'm depressed. So, and that's why we say when someone is able to say, I feel this way, we need to start dealing with people with empathy. You may not validate the feeling, but show some form of empathy, because it takes courage for me to tell you how I feel. Right. A lot of people hide their feelings. Yes, so never say, if you felt this way, let me tell you what I carry. Okay, let's validate people, let's assist people, because you never can tell. Sure. So I'll say that our system begins with you and I. I need to, pay attention to you, because when you are not saying something, you are still saying something in your quietness.
That's right.
So we need to connect deliberately. But I see a revolution where people are getting to understand, because we can't keep losing great people to depression. We can't keep silencing ourselves, because we need one another to thrive, basically.
Let me ask you this practical question also. Someone like late Ada Ame, She was bold enough to come out. Even at one point, she said she got a job and she was paid, but because of her mental health issues, she couldn't do it, and she's been taken to court and all of that. There are 1,001 people that cannot come out. They can't come out to talk about it. They can't come out to say, this is what I'm going through. Probably because the world expects so much from them. So they come out with, you know, the all smiles face and goes back indoor to, you know, sulk and go back into their worries and issues. Now, that place, you know, that place of too much expectation. Let me carry other people's body and let my own be at the back seat.
At what point do we draw the line?
At one, that's it.
Do we draw the line?
You see, one thing I want us to understand is, if I'm not okay, I can't lift you. So when you talk about your mental health,
what you don't have, you can't give.
Exactly, I need to be okay. If it's time for me to stay clear and pay attention to myself, I don't owe anybody that. Because it's when I'm available that I'll be useful to you. So the moment people get to the point, regardless of your status, you know, just know that I am not up to it anymore. Okay, I need my space. The truth is, you actually don't owe anyone to be useful or not to be useful, because you have to be useful for yourself first. Now, for this individual that we talked about, all right, she was vocal, which I give to her. If she never said it, by going by her videos or activities, you will not observe. Okay, maybe when you interact and you deal with her, you can't keep giving and giving. The truth is, people have what it takes to finish you. Let me use that word. So know when to hold back to yourself, know when to retire, to go take care of yourself.
Wow. Okay, earlier I talked... yes, and very quickly, as much as you can. Earlier I said, you know, going through your bow, that, you know, I found your hand in so many pies. So I was wondering how you're able to juggle all of these. Very importantly, you also, you know, see to, you know, talking to people, advising people how to balance work-life.
Yes.
So, tell us, in doing all of these things that you do and in using it to advise people, how can we be effectively, you know, achieve effectively at home, at the home front, while still be productive at work, especially in a place like Lagos?
I think it's all about time management.
Okay.
In Lagos, we believe there is no time, but I believe there is time for whatever you choose to prioritize. Do you get it? There is time for whatever you choose to prioritize. Then the people you're surrounded with, you must communicate your priorities to them. Don't assume they know I go to work. You should know I have to go and take care of myself. You should know I have this and this. Communicate your priorities. Let them buy into it, so that when you are not available, they know. When you are available, they know. Then for you in particular as a person, you can't do everything. So focus on that particular thing that fuels your energy.
So we can wrap this, you know, up by saying that it is you first.
Yes, you first.
That's not being selfish now?
No, it's not being selfish.
That's self-love.
Self-love, yeah. Okay. And self-preservation. I think they say that's the number one rule in life or something.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess we've been talking to Wemimo Adebiyi, a cognitive behavior practitioner, and she's also a counselor. She's been talking to us about mental health and our focus on depression. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've said it so